Hi, I just finished watching the new version of Daphne Du Maurier's Rebecca, released on Netflix during October. It's directed by Ben Wheatley, whose earlier films I've really enjoyed, and adapted by Jane Goldman, among others, and stars Lily James, Kristen Scott Thomas, and Armie Hammer. If you're not familiar with the story, it's that of a young woman who's not given a name in the story, who, while acting as paid companion for a wealthy American lady, meets and falls for the wealthy member of the English landed gentry, Maxim de Winter, set in the 1930s. She and Maxim have a whirlwind romance, get married, and move back to his family estate of Mandalay in Cornwall. But when she arrives there, she finds that the head of the household, Mrs. Danvers, is still in the thrall of Maxim's late first wife, Rebecca, and is determined that her successor will not measure up to the same standard, whether by manipulation or other means. It's a classic Gothic story. It's been filmed before. It was a Best Picture winning film in 1940, directed by Alfred Hitchcock. So you'd think that trying to do a new version of the story would be a poisoned chalice, and it is. It's a completely pointless film. There is very little here that is in any way new or fresh or original. The acting is mostly fine. Armie Hammer is showing himself to be more and more a very talented, competent character actor. Kristen Scott Thomas as the near demonic Mrs. Danvers is very obvious casting, but you cast her because she's great. Lily James, who I didn't have much time for before, was actually rather good as the second Mrs. De Winter, and the visuals are strong-ish, I suppose. But there's no justification for doing yet another adaptation after an Alfred Hitchcock film in several versions for television. There's no need for a new one. It brings nothing fresh or original to the table. There are some twists in the story which are original and add nothing apart from a token gesture towards creativity and filling out the time, frankly. It's really an absolute wasted effort, and I'm really startled that Ben Wheatley would waste his time with something like this. Having started out his career in films like Kill List or A Field in England, which were bold and stylish and different and independent and felt much grittier and more real, he's now making these polished studio pictures like Rebecca. He's just been announced as the director of The Meg 2 because obviously the next stage is making a crappy shark movie. Um, he's completely seemingly abandoned his original style and philosophy as a filmmaker in favor of making polished, anonymous studio crap. And if this is an example of the rest of his career, then I can't imagine paying to see another one of his movies. If you want to see a good version of Rebecca, watch the Hitchcock original or read the book. It's a really good book. Um, but really, this is not a sensible use of anyone's time, either the audience or the cast and crews.